Central banks worldwide are on a gold buying spree as Joe Biden continues weaponizing the US dollar. But China stands out, hoovering up historic quantities of the yellow metal. So what is China planning? Yesterday, the Gold Telegraph reported that central bank gold purchases have mopped up almost a quarter of worldwide gold production this year as a parade of central banks retreat from the dollar. The standout buyer has been China. 2 days ago, its central bank announced it had bought another 16 tons of gold in May, bringing its total purchases to 144 tons since November. That would take China's total gold holdings to roughly 2,100 tons. Where did the money come from? Well, China has also sold off almost a quarter of its U.S. government treasuries since 2021, down from 1.1 trillion to 850 billion. So why is China getting out of the dollar? There's two interpretations, the conventional story and the nuclear story. The conventional argument says China's doing what everybody else is doing, preparing in case the U.S. weaponizes its own dollars against it, as Biden did with Russia and is now threatening to do to more countries over, of all things, LGBT policy. If so, the solution is very easy. Put the grown-ups back in charge who understand that reserve currency is a bigger question than retail politics. But then there's the nuclear story, that China is amassing gold in preparation for a gold-backed currency. In fact, both China and Russia have flirted with gold backing, but I don't think China would do it with their own currency, the yuan, because a paper yuan lets them underprice their exports, plus they can inflate at will. No, the idea is for China to stand up a fresh currency, perhaps tied to the BRICS anti-dollar bloc, and back that with gold. Consider this is how countries use the dollar today. So Mexico or Korea don't use the dollar at home, they use their own cheap currency, and then they use the strong dollar as a trade rail. It's the best of both worlds. Cheap exports, strong rails. If China did a gold-backed brick, it would be an absolute game changer for the dollar because it would wipe out the US dollar as a store of value currency, which is the overwhelming reason that foreigners hold dollars in the first place. They're solid and they're liquid. Gold, of course, is much more solid than the dollar. The dollar has lost 85% of its value against gold in the past 20 years. The problem is gold is not very liquid. A gold-backed BRICS would be different. It would be a paper currency that is good as gold. Now, it wouldn't happen overnight, of course. People wouldn't immediately believe that it's really backed. But after a few months of people actually trading paper for gold, they would start to believe. One by one, they would flip trade invoices, central bank holdings, private bank holdings, investment flows. In 3 to 5 years, the currency world would be unrecognizable. Final point. If, in fact, China wants a gold-backed brick, how much gold do they need? Well, before Nixon, the U.S. only had about 2% gold cover, so $2 in gold for every $100 in M2. That means China's 2,100 tons could, in theory, cover a new currency worth about $6 trillion, which would make it the world's 5th largest currency just after the Japanese yen. I do not know if China's got the balls to do this, but if they do, our clowns in chief will not know what hit them. Okay, we'll be watching. See you next time.